this sounds a bit cheeky, but I was experimenting with really dumbing down my lyrics.
And that's what the people loved.
And that really turned out to appeal to the people.
It's a big man thing, bruv. Oh my god. Give me another shot of coffee, mate. Before James gets back. James will be disappointed if he sees me. That's fucking vile.
Yeah.
That's truly vile. But alright, I'll do a quick intro. Welcome to episode 3 of the Life is Hard podcast, newly named. I want to do like a quick preface thing. Connor's in the background showing off his fancy bottle of Glens.
Bottle of Glens.
The old Glens.
I think sometimes your body does something before your mind understands why. If that makes sense. So
it might do once you explain it.
So I didn't really know why I started this podcast, but now I think I'm kind of understanding why I'm even doing it in the first place.
Yeah,
I think it's like my journey of self-discovery, trying to talk to the most interesting people I can find.
Nice.
No pressure. James. And yeah, I don't know, just trying, because success and happiness and all these different things mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
So if I can just talk to like a vast range of different people that I think are like interesting and or have found success,
Yep.
then you can extrapolate out like a meta rule of the universe into what do you know what I mean? If you get a bunch of people, then you can find the similarities between them.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I'm using you to discover the deep truths of the universe. No pressure.
No pressure.
Do you want to introduce yourself quick?
James Reindeer, originally from Croydon. This year I'm celebrating my 30th anniversary of music production, which is, feels nice.
So when did you start again?
So I started in 1992.
Yeah, okay, wow.
The
3 years before I was
spring
born.
of 1992. I could elaborate on that, but yeah, that's when it began. And so yeah, I'm known as a music producer, a composer, a rapper, a writer, an engineer, a label manager, a touring artist.
Long list, man.
Long
Jeez.
list.
Putting me to shame.
Well, it's not a competition. Life is not a competition.
Ooh.
Yeah, and Dennis's neighbour.
So that's what I like. To me, I think life is a bit of a competition. So I'm learning something already, because you're going to have a different perspective.
I don't know. People say,
in some ways it is.
People say competition is healthy.
It's not a zero-sum game, life. Definitely not.
True, but I think if you're competing with anybody, you should be competing with yourself. I think you should be inspired by others. You should be driven by others, but you shouldn't be competing with them.
Yeah, okay. But what about in terms of like my business or your music?
Business is like slightly different, I think, because business, there is a market for a product and everybody is trying to compete for that market share. So in that sense, that is competition. But then people are going to argue that that's healthy for business.
Yeah, it makes you work harder and try harder.
So yeah, James Goldsmith, who's a person I'm not a big fan of.
Does he own Goldsmiths? The jeweler?
No.
No, okay.
He's passed away now. He was quite a character. The only reason I know about him is because Adam Curtis, documentary filmmaker, did a lot of stuff about Jimmy Goldsmith.
Okay.
But he was very much about. He was talking about if you put animals in a game reserve and you like care for their every need, you remove that competitive edge from their existence, and then they become docile and
depressed almost?
Depressed.
Really?
They lose
their
edge.
And they're not happy.
Now, whether that's true or not, but it's a good analogy. You could say that, if you're in business and you've got absolutely no competition, you're going to become complacent.
Yeah,
you're
true.
You're just going to do the bare minimum because that's going to be fine because nobody's competing with you.
Yeah, true.
And I think, you could argue that, so in business, but then...
You could say the same for anything, really. If you had no competition in your music, do you think you'd work so hard on it?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it depends what you want to get out of your music.
Yeah.
A lot of people think of music and then they think step one is to monetize that.
Yeah, that would be my first thought.
And then you are turning that music into business.
Yeah.
So then perhaps you do want to compete.
Yeah.
Because if you want to get in the charts, right? There's the Billboard Top 200. It's a competition to get into that chart.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do with your music. To me, music is.
So yeah, what is so let me give a quick preface. I want to say, I think my favourite things about you is one, maybe. So you're a bit older. How old are you again? Like mid-40s, early 40s?
I just turned 44.
Just turned 44, yeah. So there's like a lot of people I know your age who I wouldn't consider knows that much about life, despite being a few years older.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I come to you for like advice or your wisdom all the time. James's nickname is the Oracle of Argyle, which is where so whenever I've got like a fucking problem or I need a bit of wisdom, usually I'll come to you.
Yeah.
And I don't say that about, there's a lot of adults that I wouldn't go to for advice.
And yeah, to me that's a real honour.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that genuinely. So I think I've knocked on your door a couple of times. Like, I need your help with X thing.
Well, the first conversation we ever had, you were like, "So you're a bit older. What can you tell me about life?"
Is that like the first thing I said?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, we pretty much established that I was. The first thing we established was that I am a bit older. And then you were immediately like, right, well, what can you tell me? What can I learn from you?
Shit, I've been putting pressure on you the whole time.
But it's nice to be put on a spot like that because it's like, well, suddenly I'm thinking, okay, what would I tell the 26-year-old me?
Yeah.
I often think that, what would I tell the 14-year-old me?
Yeah.
What would the 14-year-old me make of the 44-year-old me? Da, 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 da.
I'm always the answer to that question.
I think that the 14-year-old me would be very impressed.
Nice.
The 44-year-old me.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
would be really amazed.
Yeah, okay, and that's a good segue into the other cool thing I think about you is you basically spent most of your life just touring the world, playing your fucking music all around the world to audiences.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like your passion in life is music, right? And you spend your whole life literally getting paid to run around the planet playing to people, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
really cool.
I've lived a great deal of my life on my terms, and I've been successful in my terms.
Yeah, which is amazing. That is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like I bumped into some people doing parkour the other day. They were like young.
Yeah.
And they were telling me, I don't know if he was gassing, but he was like on the second best parkour guy in the world. I don't know if that's true. But like him and his mates just toured the world doing parkour, which is what they just jumped from country to country.
Nice. Yeah.
Like funding it through their passion in life, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And also, like I don't really have a passion really. I feel like money's my passion kind of like by default, because if I don't have something I'm really passionate about, I might as well try and make money.
Yeah, but doesn't that just make money your passion? Isn't business your passion? I mean, to me, you're a businessman. Yeah. And I think that's, and a lot of people that's their drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
it is to, ultimately, everybody needs to make money. That's just standard. You can't go through life without money. If you do, you're going to limit the options available to you. And so, everybody should be driven by that to a certain extent. But not everybody embraces that in the way that you do. So you really make that a major facet of your lifestyle.
Yeah. But it is the best way to measure the success of a business is how much money it's making.
That's the thing.
It's really the only. I don't know if there's other ways. There's no more objective way to measure it, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of things you come down to the bottom line. Yeah. And that's fair enough, you know. If that's a solid way of measuring it. If you can be like, I made X amount of money today, that's X amount more than I did yesterday. And that's a nice metric.
Things are going well.
Yeah, things are going well. Today was a good day. I can this number on this spreadsheet proves today was a good day.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I
that's
guess it's
like-
nice to have something objective to measure your success by. And I
Because-
guess you were telling me today with music it's tricky sometimes because it's subjective.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
how do you even know if a tune's good?
Yeah,
I
that's the
have
thing.
no
You
idea.
can't. You just
Yeah.
I mean, it's so music is art. Let's call it art generally. It's totally subjective.
Yeah, tricky.
And just because you make something that you think is good doesn't mean it has an intrinsic value. I can make an album, I can put it for sale tomorrow, and maybe nobody's going to buy it.
Yeah. Have you found, is there a correlation between how good you think a song is and how much other people love it? Like, what's been your best seller ever? Is it something you thought would like pop off?
No, so the most successful song. Well, the most successful song I ever released was a song that was specifically also released as a single and promoted as a single by like PR companies, and it got on the radio.
Oh, nice, on the radio.
One.
Oh, wow,
Mary Ann
sweet.
Hobbs was like, "These are the best lyrics we've heard all year."
Really?
Which was like a big deal at
I
the
don't know
time.
who Mary Ann Hobbs is, but
She's a
BBC
very
Radio 1.
well-respected radio DJ.
Oh, that's nice.
She's BBC Radio 6 currently.
That's sick.
She's a name. That's like a quote. That's a good quote to have.
Yeah, really cool.
So that song was promoted to be
Was
a
that
success.
was that a more mainstream tune you made then? Would you class most of your music as mainstream?
Well, so here's what's
I'd say no.
interesting about that song is, to me, so we were making an album. That was just one song on the album. It wasn't. We weren't thinking of it as a single. We weren't thinking of it as any. It was just like the 12th song that we made. We made like 20 songs for the album. We picked the best 14. Whether this happened to be one of them. For me, lyrically on that song, I was experimenting. This sounds a bit cheeky, but I was experimenting with really dumbing down my lyrics.
And that's what the people loved.
And that really turned out to appeal to the people. So basically, I'm really about doing, my lyrics are supposed to be poetic. I'm interested in poetry. I like playing with the language. I like saying things in an interesting way, using, colourful language, unusual words. That's what appeals to me. But for this song, I was like, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to make it. It's not even going to rhyme. It's just going to be a series of really dumbed down statements.
And it was hailed as some of the best lyrics
and
BBC Radio's ever heard.
And then we finished the
That's
song.
funny.
And we were like, yeah, that's all right. We'll send that to the label. And they were like, this is the single. And we were like, really?
Wow.
And we were like, yeah, this is the single, 100%. And then it went out there.
Took off.
It took off, and it's
That's
a big
crazy.
song. And to this day, so many people are still like that.
I don't think I've heard that one then. You'll have to send it to me.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I mean, the song is called Soul Suck.
How to exploit money from nothing to pay for a year, nothing sacred, and sex is everything. If God had big tits and a fast car, we'd all buy in.
It's on
By James Reindeer.
by FBC Fabric and Reindeer
Okay.
from the album It's Not Who You Know, It's Whom You Know, released 2005 on Buttercuts Records. It's a good
What kind of
song.
genre was that then? It wasn't
What
like
kind of
poppy,
genre?
was it?
So it's like it's alternative rap music,
Alternative rap. Okay.
which was like
I mean,
fashionable.
that is hilarious that you dumb down your lyrics once and it popped off.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
The
And so,
masses.
yeah,
It's like pretty,
it says a lot in a way.
yeah, but kind of also predictable, I think.
Yeah, I mean, so what I could have done is then just dumb down all my lyrics.
I was about to ask, like, if it was me, I'd be like,
That's the formula.
yeah, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's where the success and money is.
Let's just do that from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But this is like, I think you said before, you do your music because it like comes from fucking, like you said, it's art, right? It comes from,
yeah.
you're doing it for you first, right?
Yeah.
First.
So for me, I never made music to make money.
Mm.
And to that end, none of my creative decisions have been based on what is most likely to sell records, what is most likely to make the most money. I've always just done what I wanted to do.
Do you think you need that lens to be successful in music or not?
What do you mean?
if you want to be successful in music, like if you want to make money in music, do you need to come at an angle from I want to make money?
Oh, 100%.
You need to come from
Yeah,
an angle.
100%.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to be successful with your music, you need to sell out, which is what they call it. I think that's an unhealthy term. I think to me, selling out, so basically, let's pick a band, Metallica, very like excellent musicians, incredible musicians. Cliff Burton, rest in peace. He was an extraordinary talent. They released 3 albums, which are like the first 3 Metallica albums are incredible. Like musically, it's just they were way ahead of the game. Fantastic, really, really good stuff. But it was niche. It was genre music. So while they were making a living from it, they weren't topping up their pensions.
Okay.
They were like making a day-to-day living from it, which is great when you're young, fine, fantastic. But they were in a situation where if the next album didn't sell, they'd have to go and get real jobs.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
It's my worst fear.
Yeah, worst fear is having to get a real job, right? And so they made a decision at one point to slightly change their musical style, that it could be played on radio. Like they would have radio-friendly hits,
Right.
you know. And as soon as they did, they went from the biggest niche band in their small pond to one of the biggest bands in the world.
Wow.
And
Crazy.
And yeah,
Who was that? Metallica?
Metallica.
They used to swear
Nuts.
in their earlier albums.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you listened to their older new stuff? Can you dissect what's different about it? How do you appeal to the masses?
So at the beginning, so if you want to get played on radio, you need 3-minute long songs.
Okay.
Simple. Their first.
I feel like it's shorter than that. There's just a lot of songs that come out now that are like a minute and a half long. Which
Yeah,
is
true.
just
Yeah, I mean, songs
so
have
like,
got
it's getting
shorter.
lazier, man.
Yeah, songs have got
It's getting
shorter over
lazier.
time. But yeah, I mean, ideally, so they sold out in the early 90s. So to put a time frame on it, they were doing their thing in that from all through the 80s, and then when they hit the 90s, that's when they like commercialized their sound. So at the beginning, they were making like 6-minute songs that you just couldn't play on the radio. They're too aggressive. It's like heavy metal. It's really fast. It's like
Master of Puppets, which was featured on the latest season of Stranger Things.
oh yeah,
And it's like really popular on Spotify now. It's gone like to the
right.
top.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
interesting.
on Stranger Things. It's like 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
So you just anyone that sees an 8-minute song now. Just,
I'm gonna grab a coffee quick. We're having a quick conversation.
All right.
Got James and present.
All right, waiting for the present now. But so I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
That's like that was like a 6-minute song,
Yeah.
and that was unheard of as a single. Like they were like, you can't release a 6-minute single, but it's like it's Bohemian Rhapsody. So you know, when you look at it retrospectively, of course it was going to be a massive hit, but at the time that's like risky. You can't make a 6-minute song and put it on the radio.
Song in the Garden of Eden, baby. It's like
Yeah.
6 minutes long.
Iron Butterflies.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
about
that's it,
17
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah,
I got that on
it's
vinyl.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah, here's your gift, James. I don't know
Ooh.
if James doesn't drink alcohol. You drink alcohol once a year, usually.
Oh yeah, I mean max.
Yeah, max, yeah.
I've drunk alcohol.
I think you had a drink or two on your birthday, like
I had a
last
drink.
month.
Yeah, Dennis persuaded me to have a shot with him on my
Your
birthday.
birthday. Good
But
stuff.
yeah, as a general rule, I am teetotal.
That's something I want to ask you about as well. Do you want to open your present then?
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, I've got a backup present as well.
Sacred.
But I know your favourite drink is blood orange juice, right?
Yeah.
That's hard to find.
Wow. Salerno, blood orange liqueur.
Woo!
Celebrating the original and naturally intense flavour of Sicilian blood oranges. Fascinating, Dennis.
Yeah, I didn't know you could get a liqueur of it, but
Well, we do know now.
yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like I'm going to be having another drink now. Thank
Do you want the backup present as well?
That's very kind of you.
It's a blood orange, normal, non-alcoholic.
A non-alcoholic
drink.
blood
Yeah.
orange. Nice.
I didn't realise you don't need drink fizzy drinks either, though. I think this has got sugar in it.
That'll be all right. We'll check it out.
Yeah.
I'm open to
I don't know. It doesn't even say what the ingredients are.
It does say sparkling organic.
Oh really? Oh, maybe it's healthy. Shit, nice.
Sparkling would mean healthy, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I've got a whole crate of them. I've only got 2 of them here. The rest are at home.
Cheers. Nice.
Yeah. Can I see that bottle as well? That looks fucking. I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it?
That looks fancy, man.
It
That
does
looks
look
nice.
fancy. Yeah, that does look fancy.
Yeah, we'll have a sip in a bit.
Yeah, we'll have to. It's a little bit early still.
Yeah, definitely. What was I going to say? Yeah, so what is it about... Do you know what it is about music? Let's go back to where it started. What is it about music? Like, when did you get into music, and what is it about that you love so much? 'Cause for me, like, I've enjoyed listening to music, but I've never... Personally, I don't know what you'd call it. I've never identified with it that much. It's never been a huge part of my life. Like, I listen to music all the time.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't even say there's a particular artist I really care about that much.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in my household, there was music around. So my dad was a big Led Zeppelin fan, a big Queen fan, Pink Floyd, Status Quo, he liked that kind of stuff. My mum was really into Leonard Cohen, Joan Baez. My sister, a couple of years older, was into like the 80s hair rock, like Bon Jovi, Poison, bands like this. So there was music always on at home, and I always appreciated it. And yeah, I liked pop music when I was a kid. We used to watch Top of the Pops, which was a pop TV program on every Thursday night.
So is music quite big in your household growing up?
So music, I was like very used to music being around. We used to,
Got it.
on summer holidays, we would like drive down to Cornwall and we'd listen to like, music in the car the whole time. A lot of country music, like Reader's Digest country music compilations. And
Is your sister into music as much as you, or even your parents? Probably not.
No, she was pretty into it as a teenager. And that's when I got like heavily into music. I guess my family were all into kind of like guitar-based, rocky kind of music, and then I discovered through the radio like hip hop music. Eric B. and Rakim, Run DMC, LL Cool J, Beastie Boys, stuff like this. And to me it was just amazing because it was, on one hand it was totally different to what was going on at home. Like
Yep.
It just didn't sound anything like what the rest of my family was listening to. So it kind of sounded
So
like...
was it like the first time, do you remember the first time you heard that type of music?
Yeah. I mean,
crazy.
on my 10th birthday, I got given a compilation tape called Rap Tracks, and it was a tape of like really good rap music,
Right.
like really good stuff. EPMD, Boogie Down Productions, like not pop, like it was like, I mean, rap music was getting popular at this time, so you could argue that this was like poppier stuff, but it was like quality rap music.
Okay.
So yeah, 10 years old, I suddenly had this tape of like this incredible music. And yeah, it just blew my mind. It just appealed to me in so many ways because it was poetic. So I love language. I read. I was constantly
Right.
reading as a kid. And this
Okay.
rap music to me, it was like poetry to a beat.
Yeah,
And it
okay.
just seemed like such a inventive way of creating, you know. And I loved the fact that it was...
So how important is like good lyrics to a song for you? Would you say it's quite important?
Like super important.
Super important.
Super
Yeah, okay.
important. Super important. Yeah, across most genres. Like some extreme metal music, you can't hear what they're saying, and that's fine because it suits that genre. But as a general rule, yeah, if I can hear what they're saying and it's not good, then you've lost me.
Do you like Skrillex then?
I've
I guess
never
not.
listened to Skrillex. I'm aware of Skrillex.
It's funny. Okay, yeah, so it came for, so you had a love for reading as well, just language in general.
Yeah,
and
so
that
for
translates
me,
to
yeah, so
music.
for
And
me, yeah.
one of the most, I don't know what the word is, one of the most fundamental parts of a good song to you is the lyrics or the language that goes into it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I guess that's reflected in this music you make as well.
Yeah, so lyrics were just really important.
Yeah, and I guess that's why you don't want to dumb down all your tracks just to hit the masses if the lyrics is the fucking...
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's
I could
the
write
crux of it
Yeah,
for
I
you.
could write something. I could write something that would entertain somebody else, but I'd much rather do something that motivates me to do something really different and interesting, and really push myself to write the best that I can.
Yeah.
Because it's just more interesting. And yeah, and at the same time, I'm not doing it. It's amazing to be able to create something and share it, and to have other people like it and tell you that they like it. That's like such an honor that anybody would devote any of their time listening to what you're doing. But at the same time, I'm not doing it for anyone else.
Yeah, okay. All for you.
Yeah.
All for you. I like that. I think that's how art's supposed to be, really. Good art. That's what they say.
Yeah, because for me, what's fun is making a song. Marketing a song is not fun. Trying to sell a song is not fun.
No.
What's fun is making it.
Yeah.
And so I made music in my bedroom.
Yeah, but how old were you? So you got that rap song that just opened your mind to hip hop and stuff at 10?
I was 10 years old when I got my first
your first track?
And so I made my... So like at home we had an acoustic... My mum had an acoustic guitar, and we had an old like Casio keyboard type thing. So I like noodled around on these things, not really knowing what I was doing. But when I got the hip-hop tape when I was 10, that opened my mind up, and the music at the time opened my mind up to the concept of sampling, and I found sampling really interesting.
I'm not even sure. Is that just taking things from different songs and putting them together?
Yeah, basically. So there's different types of sampling. There's a way to do it artistically, and there's a way to do it which is not artistic. So an artistic way to do it would be to sample, let's say, a bass line, and you would chop it into the individual notes, and then you could replay those notes to make a different bass line.
Okay.
And then you could re-pitch those notes to make something completely different to the original thing. So what you're actually sampling is not the melodic phrase, it's the quality of that bass tone.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So that's, but to me it's just fascinating that you could, and so hip-hop music, it quickly occurred to me that you could sample any type of music and turn it into a hip-hop format. So I could then go downstairs to my parents' record collection and just sample anything and turn it into something that appeals to me.
What did that look like back in the day? Did you have computers back then?
Yeah, so then when I was 14 years, so my mum, bless her, was a very technologically savvy woman. In the 80s, she quickly realized that it was going to be all about computers. So
cool.
She got into computing. She was a secretary in a place called Cane Hill Mental Institution in the 80s, and then in like the early 80s, I would say, there was a memo came around the office to say, we're going to have to computerize the office. Does anybody want to do a course in computers? And my mom was like, I'll do that.
Yeah, okay.
So she got
Smart lady, sounds like.
She got into computers early, so we had a PC in the house early.
Okay.
And so by 1992, I was like, Mum, can we get a sound card for our computer? We've got a computer, but can we get a sound card for it? And she was like, James, what do we do with the sound card? I'm like, with the sound card, Mum, you can make music with your computer. And she
How old were you at the time? Then?
I was 13.
13.
And she was like, all right.
Nice.
100%. So we went to PC World, and she bought us a sound card.
How much was that back then?
It was quite expensive.
Oh,
It was about 100 and something pounds
Okay.
in 1992 money.
It's probably at least a couple hundred by now.
Yes, it's
500.
quite an investment.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind, she was just on a secretary's wage. We were not a well-off family. So that was it. And then so as soon as I had this sound card, that meant I could sample and I could start making music.
Crazy.
Which is which is how it began. But like this was really primitive technology.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. That's mad. Okay, and so what kind of music did you make at first? Like, what did that look like? And like, when did you first make money doing music? That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, of course. So I made. So at the beginning, I didn't even have. There was the only piece of software you had on the computer. I couldn't afford dedicated music making software, but there was a thing on Windows called Sound Recorder, and you could do really, really basic copy and paste stuff. So I would sample a drum beat, and then I'd sample a few small elements, and then there was no visual. This piece of software was just like this. It was just a little box, and it was like record, play, fast forward. It was like just a little box, and so you would open a sound, drum beat 1. I'd say beat 1, like that, sample 1, and then I would have bass 1, which would be dum, dum, right, and then you'd like. I can't even remember how you did it because it was just one window. Basically, you would mix these two sounds. You'd open bass 1, you'd hit edit copy, and then you'd open up the drum bit and you'd hit paste mix. And then you'd have the drum and the bass on top of itself.
Yeah, okay.
And then I'd copy that, and then I'd go to the end of it and then hit copy, like paste again. So then you'd have and I had to build the whole songs up. And so I had these A4 pieces of paper where I mapped out the arrangements of all the songs, and it's like ridiculously complicated.
And this was still when you're, how old are you at this point?
13,
still a kid.
14.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's when I first started to work out how to make an actual song.
Jesus.
But this was like
you must have really loved it to go through all that effort.
I spent hours, just hours and hours and hours doing things that I can now do in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like just the time spent just doing this stuff. And then crazy. It was like, I called it industrial hip hop. That was like my genre back then. Because I was interested in industrial music as well. I didn't just like hip hop at this time. I was getting into like different types of music as well.
Got it.
There's a type of music called industrial music, which had the sample-based elements, but it also involved like heavier guitar stuff. That it was like a mixture of metal and sample-based music. So yeah, at the beginning I was doing that for probably 3 or 4 years before I really started to write my own lyrics to put vocals on this stuff. So
Got it. So you're just making the beats at first?
I was just making beats at first.
Yeah, okay.
Alone in my room. And then with one friend, Matt Wellbrook. Shout out to Matt Wellbrook.
Shout out.
We had our first band together, Meet Turbine, when we were like 15.
Very cool.
And we just sampled random. Just like, that's the thing, our ears were just tuned to that would be a sick sample. So
what's anything like a bird chirping or literally anything?
Like watching TV, movies, like any sound hitting the table, like be a sick sample. And that's like the only thing we said to each other for like 2 years, and we just sampled anything and everything. And just like
funny. Do you still have any of these tunes now? Do they exist?
Yeah, I got one tape which has got the whole Meat Turbine discography is on this one of these tapes.
That's
and
funny.
most of it's like pretty unlistenable, but it was great practice. It was like I was learning how to make music, like fully learning. Like this, there was no YouTube tutorials. There was I didn't have somebody that was teaching me. I was teaching myself from the ground up how to make music.
Yeah, that must have been tricky. I mean, now it's easy to learn anything really. Like I've gotten to my point now just literally just through YouTube. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, I use a lot of YouTube. So I study music theory now.
Yeah. Which
is something I needed. It's something I wanted to understand.
Yeah, the fact that it's harder to do, and this is something they say a lot in all these business podcasts and stuff, these kind of obstacles or barriers to entry, I don't even think they're a bad thing, because if something's harder to do, then there's less competition.
Okay.
I can't explain it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. If it depends.
The barriers make it more worthwhile, and it makes you more unique and hard to do, and therefore it's more valuable if you can put it off. If that makes sense.
Yeah. That
So they
does
say,
make sense to me, 100%.
like, every time there's a problem in my business, it's like, okay, if I've got this problem, then my competitors have got the same problem, and it's sort of like you have to be thankful for it in a way, because if you can put in the effort to get over it, then you're winning, sort of.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
If it's easy, then there's no value in it.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking earlier
Literally
about
by definition.
about the name of your podcast being Life is Hard.
Oh yeah, I like that name.
And I like that name because life is hard, but some people will equate that to meaning life is not fun or
Yeah,
life is too hard to bother.
Yeah.
But actually, life is hard, and that's what makes it
Worthwhile.
worthwhile.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about, at the moment I've been learning to play the guitar for about 3.5 years. I've been like learning the guitar every day. I like noodled around on guitars my whole life. I've used guitars my whole life. But I really was like, okay, I really actually want to learn the theory, and I really want to actually fully invest time in
What does the
playing
theory
guitar.
mean? Is that like literally reading about?
So music theory is how music works. And it is a theory.
Sound like
It's-
like a neurological level, like a psychological level? Or you mean
Well, music is made up of tones, right? So frequencies.
right? So what?
So we have 12
The
notes.
ingredients that go into like a good song. Is
Yeah,
it?
so we have 12 notes in our Western musical system.
Okay.
And we have scales that we are based off of these notes, and the scales have 7 tones in each scale. And you can build chord progressions from the scales. And
I understand none of this. Really.
Yeah, so it's but it's
Yeah.
like a system. It's like it's a way. It's if you know the system, you can write a piece of music without listening to it, because
Okay.
you know it's going to work.
Right.
So if I've got something in the key of A minor, then I know what notes are in the scale of A minor, and then I know that to make the basic A minor chord, I need to play notes 1, 3, and 5 in that scale. If I want to make it a 7th, then I just add the 7th note in that scale, and it's like it's a system. So it's we don't want to like. This is not a music theory podcast right now, but it's like if you understand.
I'm interested though.
If you
But
understand music theory.
What happens if you deviate from the system? You can still make a song. Is it just it's not going to appeal to a human ear?
I mean, yeah. If you just stick to the exact rules, your music might become quite boring.
Okay.
So you kind of have to know.
It's where the art comes in. by
Yeah.
the
So
sounds of it.
basically, if you want to, you need to know what the rules are before you can break them. But breaking
Right.
the rules in interesting ways is what pushes boundaries.
Okay.
So people can be naive. So I made music for 25 years without studying music theory. And I got away with it.
Yeah.
But now that I know music theory, I can go back and listen to songs I made then, and I can be like, that song was actually in the key of C minor. And
Okay.
da-da-da-da-da.
So you were kind of following the rules. You just didn't know what they were.
I didn't know what they were, but it just
yeah.
sounded right. So in
Sounded
the past,
right,
I just
yeah.
made music by whether it sounded right or not. But it doesn't
Did
sound
your
right.
so if you go back to your I've forgotten the name of it, meat turbine?
Meat
Did that
turbine.
follow the rules?
No.
No. Okay, and it didn't sound good.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Sounded
it sounds like you
interesting,
learned
though.
these rules from the ground up then.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't read about them, you discovered it through
Yeah.
practice,
So in the past,
which is quite cool.
all I did was I mean, what I thought my skill was knowing when something sounded good.
Yeah. But by the sounds like that's something you learn over time.
No, I think it's
Or
just a
not?
feel. I think I just from the day one, I just like it's like if you like a type of music, it's like I like this song. It just sounds right. I don't like
Okay.
that song. That song just
But-
doesn't sound right.
But your meat turbine stuff didn't sound good. Is that just because you didn't have the expertise to put it all together?
Yeah, because we were like kids just
Yeah, okay.
throwing
around.
everything.
Okay, got it.
Imagine if you've just suddenly been given a big palette of paints. You know, you've got 30 different colours. You're just going to be throwing them all on and just end up with just brown. You know what I mean?
okay.
Because you're just...
Yeah, it's just going to be black. Isn't it?
Yeah, you just,
Brown,
whatever,
yeah.
let's just do everything. Let's
Yeah.
just throw everything at this. So yeah, we had a 3-minute song
Yeah, that makes
that
sense.
had like 80 samples. And it's just like ridiculous.
Okay.
So yeah, you have to. I mean, you develop your style. So if all artists, let's really generalize. All artists are going to be inspired by other artists.
Yeah.
That's how you start. You're like,
Yeah,
I want to be like the Beatles. Beatles are sick. I want to be like the Beatles. Right. So the first thing you do is you learn a few Beatles songs, and then by the time you know how to play a few Beatles songs, you're like, well, I could kind of just rearrange the chords on that song there and just kind of like make my own song. And that's how it goes. So it's like you
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's the same as like you learn the rules again, and then you need to know the rules before you break them, I guess.
Yeah, totally. But it's your personal taste. It's like I've never been into the Beatles. Like they're just not a band that appealed to me.
Connor just died inside, I think.
Connor just died inside.
I died inside a long time ago.
It's alright. So I mean, I fully respect, but at the same time, I'm very keen to acknowledge that a lot of bands I do like did listen to the Beatles. So it's like I am indirectly. Everybody is indirectly influenced by the Beatles. But yeah, for me, like Metallica really, when I first heard Metallica coming from my sister's bedroom, right?
Yep.
And I was just like, oh, that is sick. Like, what is that? I like that. That just appeals to me. And yeah, she was listening to a lot of music, and a lot of it I was like, no, you're right. But that one. Yeah. Well,
was that their old stuff or their newer stuff before they sold out?
This would have been the sellout album.
Okay.
But it was catchy as hell. It was just really good.
Is it the Kinks who did Girl?
You really?
Is that the Kinks? Yeah, they were inspired. Hetfield, lead singer. He said he was heavily inspired by that sound.
Right, yeah, because the Kinks are super raw.
They were playing with like pennies like that, like to get
right.
really like.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a story that they like slashed up the cones on their speakers to like get a
They tarnished the instruments deliberately to like
dirty the sound up. Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah, it sounds great. I mean, I love.
I might try a bit of this as well.
Yeah, get stuck in there. So so you're drawn to whatever art you're drawn to. You're just drawn to it. Perhaps you can intellectualize it at a later date. But yeah, some things I was just drawn to, and so I wanted to do things in that style. Any good?
Very sweet.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll be your thing. But yeah, sorry, what were you saying? Intellectual style.
I forget exactly what the point was that we were driving at. But so you don't make a conscious decision. But maybe some people do. Maybe some people are like, yes, I want to be a house music producer. Because I think that's where the money is. Yeah. But a lot of people are just going to be like, well, I just like house music. So I just want to make house music. That's the kind of music I like. Yeah. And I think most people start off that way. So I think so, especially if music's a passion. Yeah, I just wanted to make music like the music that I liked. But at the same time, I think you start off working with your limitations as well. Because I like Metallica, but I mean, the skill of their musicianship was like a million miles beyond what I was capable of achieving. So like, there's no way, even with all the will in the world, that I would be able to write a song like Metallica when I was 13. So I just didn't have that ability.
The lyrics and also the ones, what do you call them? The ones without any lyrics? Instrumentals, yeah, they're fantastic. Yeah. I think they're the best songs that they've done. Just
Orion, Orion.
From last song, gives me chills every time I listen to it.
And Cliff Burton, who wrote that song, was very skilled at music theory.
Is he the one that
died? The bassist who passed away.
Was he the 27-year-old as well?
Younger.
What, younger?
He was younger.
How many artists do a James Reindeer and go through most of their career without ever learning the theory? Is that a common thing? Or a very uncommon thing?
I guess it depends what type of music you make. So sample-based musicians, 100%, a lot of them. I think there's an interesting school of thought where So, like, let's talk about the Wu-Tang Clan. Let's talk about the RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan. He produced the first 5 Wu-Tang Clan albums without knowing anything about music theory. He just sampled. He called himself more of a DJ when he was doing that stuff, because he was just selecting cool samples and putting them together. But those first 5 albums are some of the best hip hop albums there will ever be. Like, they're just incredible albums. But then at one point, I think you have a reputation of being a great producer, but actually all you're doing is kind of like borrowing from other people's music.
Got it.
So at one point the RZA decided to learn how to make music. He started to learn music theory. But then, interestingly, he went from being one of the world's best producers to being a really average songwriter.
Really?
Like, the quality of his music just nosedived.
And that was after he learned the theory?
After he learned how to make the theory.
Okay. Interesting.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah, that's funny.
And I think that happened to a few people. So I think people, like, somebody like him, he's like a million selling artist that's like picked up all over the world. But perhaps at night he's sitting there thinking, oh, kind of just nicked all this stuff. It's not really me. It's like I just looped some Marvin Gaye and some da-da-da-da-da. And yeah, for me, I felt when I made a beat that was based around a sample and people loved that beat, I was like, yeah, it's a sick beat, but it's kind of a sick beat because I got a sick sample.
Right.
And so you feel like, yeah, I did make a series of creative decisions to pick that sample and to pick the drums that I sampled and pick the bass line that I sampled and pick that trumpet stab that I sampled, and I have made something new out of it.
But none of the core elements are yours.
Yeah, it's still not really, I still didn't really write it.
Okay.
So now, so after I started learning music,
if you dissect the song, then its parts don't belong to you, sort of.
Yeah,
when you put it together.
Like there's a weird feeling. And and some people will be like, they might hear the sample that you used to make the song and suddenly be like, oh, well, you just basically nicked it. Like, you didn't really write that song, did you? I heard the original, and all you've done is basically like chopped up that thing. It's like, yeah, okay. So this, for example, this new album I'm working on at the moment, I've been working on it for a year, and there are no samples on this album.
Nothing. So it's all pure James Reindeer.
Everything is me playing an instrument. And for me, creatively, personally, I'm so proud of that. Because this
I get that,
100% I made this. I didn't sample anybody, I didn't borrow anything. It's 100% me, and I still think the quality is there. Like, I think this album I'm working on now is one of the favourite things I've ever done. And so yeah, that gives me a feeling that's like...
This album you're making now is one of your favourite albums you've made, yeah. Have you never had a purely James Reindeer album before?
What's sample free?
Yeah.
Not a rap album. So this is the first rap album where I'm making the music myself that is 100% sample free. The last album I released, Field Reports from the Western Land, was a sample free album, but that was the majority of that was produced by an associate of mine, a collaborator named Nimrod. Shout out to Nimrod Supreme in Saarbrücken. Yeah. So that is... But that's something I wouldn't have been able to do without learning the music theory.
This current one, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Let's hope it doesn't go to average. Let's hope it doesn't all go average.
Yeah, we'll see what people make of it. Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing. But some people might be like, well, yeah, it's nice, but I don't like it as much as. Nobody ever likes what you do as much as your first album.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it?
That's what everybody likes the most. Whatever you did first, even if it's the best thing you did or not.
Yeah, it's funny. So, okay, when did you first make a bit of bank? At what point did it become
that was the part
a
two.
career for you?
Yeah.
Sort of. Was it funding your? When were you touring the world?
So
what does that process look like?
So I got lucky. I mean, I wasn't pursuing that. So I was making music in my bedroom. Time passed, technology improved. The music software started to get to a price point that I was able to match, and so it was 1998. No, yeah, February 1998 was when I first got the decent enough software to make music that was of a professional standard.
Okay.
That's when I could actually make music that.
How much did that cost back then?
That was expensive, thanks to my mum. Once again. Yeah, so that was £350 worth of software in February 1998. Which was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And yeah, that
sounds like it's a good investment, though.
It's an incredible investment, and that's the software I still use now. Shout out to Steinberg Cubase. It's a great piece of software. When I first got it, I was using Cubase 3.5. I'm now using Cubase 12. Yeah, so then when I got that software, then that's when it was really on. So that's when I could make. So that took
your music to what, the next level?
Yeah, that's when I could. Before then, I couldn't record vocals in computer. So what happened was, by that point, I was already making vocals. But what I would do is I would make the beat on the computer, and then I would record the beat onto a cassette tape. And while I was recording it onto the cassette tape, I had a microphone plugged in, and I recorded the vocals live onto the tape. So on the tape, I would have the vocal mix. I couldn't record the vocals in the software.
Got it.
When I got this Cubase, that's when I could record vocals in the software. And that's when my bedroom basically turned into a music studio, and there was always people at my house, and we were always just making music. People would come over to my place and make music.
That's cool.
Shout out to Andy Scopes, rest in peace. Shout out to Raph, Mike Ray, Paul Webb, Danny Bissix, Paul Slater. Just a lot of people would come around and we'd make music. And then I met my good friend FBC Fabric in 1999. He was from Newcastle, relocated to London. We met at South Thames College in Wandsworth. We struck up a friendship and started to make. He made music too. I felt at the time the music he was making was much better than the music I was making. He would probably say we were at a similar level. I just felt like he just had that edge. And so soon I started to rap on his beats. So it was like, okay, yeah, so well, you make the beats, I'll rap on your beats. Because it's a lot of, I find it easier to rap on other people's music than my own. I can't really explain that why that is. Whatever. But the point was that FBC Fabric was the one that got a record deal.
Right.
So he had his cousin. I mean, it's always whom you know.
But you weren't like a band or whatever at the time. You were two separate artists.
Two separate people.
Some collaborations.
Yeah, making music in our bedrooms.
Yeah.
We made music by post. So he would make a beat, put it on a CD, and post it to me. And then I would record the vocals, and then I would put them on a CD and post them back to him.
Yeah,
and we made an album like this. And yeah, his cousin knew somebody that ran a record label, so they just like hooked him up, and they were like, yeah, basically, yeah, we like your music, FBC Fabric's music. We would like to release an album from you. And he was like, great. So he basically got a record deal, and I just jumped on it.
So you were doing the vocals over the tracks?
So I was doing the vocals over his music, and I ended up being the vocalist on the album. And I
wouldn't call that lucky, though. I mean, I couldn't get lucky tomorrow and then suddenly end up with a fucking record deal. Like, you put in like 10 years or whatever of hard work at that point. Do you know what I mean? You had the skills and stuff to back it up, obviously.
Yeah,
I would argue that you'd probably get lucky eventually.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, it's lucky in as far as I feel lucky that he wanted me to rap on his music, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like he could have. He liked what I did, you know, and I liked what he did, and it was just a nice
thing. But yeah, he was the one that got the record deal, and I was expecting to be a footnote on the back of the record, like vocals by Reindeer, da 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 da.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, we're gonna make this an FBC Fabric and Reindeer album.
That's good of him.
This is two. And I was like, you sure? And he was like, yeah, 100%. He wrote. So I was only on 2/3 of the album though, something like that.
Of the tracks on the album.
On the tracks on the album. So the album had 14 tracks, and I was on like 8 of them.
Got it.
Like, and the other ones were instrumental.
You still had your name on this.
But he still put my name on the front cover, so he got a slightly...
You're still in touch with him?
Oh yeah, it's my best friend.
Oh, awesome.
Best friend.
That's
Shout
nice.
out Ed, love you so much. Answer my calls for crying out loud.
Yeah. Yeah, return my calls.
Yeah, return my
piece
calls,
of shit.
dude.
Yeah.
Do
you reckon he's going to watch this?
No. I don't know, yeah, he might actually, he might. He's a wonderful man. But yeah, so he got... So yeah, I basically stumbled onto this record deal, and that's how it started. That's when there was suddenly like money,
So is that your
money
first-
on the table.
Did you get paid at that point? How much did you make? Do you remember?
A little bit. So we got paid up front. So yeah, Ed FBC Fabric, he got a bigger share of the money because
Yep.
he did more of the work.
Yeah.
I forget exactly how much we got given, but they gave us a lump sum both up front before the record released. Not as an advance, not as a loan, but like a full-on payment. So that's the first time I ever got paid for music.
Wicked.
And
How old were you again at the time?
I was a little bit older at this point. I think we were 24, 25 by the time. Yeah, I think the album dropped a few months before I turned 26. But we'd like put out the single first, the Soul single, and like the deal. I forget how long the deal was in place before the album actually dropped. I think it was a couple of years. We were still working on the album, so we got the deal before the album was finished. So we were working on it and sending them the progress. So that was nice. They were like patient. There was no deadline. I just remember them being like, "Yeah, you just keep making it. When it's ready, it's ready."
Sweet. So, okay, so 24, 25 when you got that first record deal, first payment. But then when you were touring the world, you were doing that as a solo act most of the time, right? So how did you transition into
so that was
doing your own stuff and getting paid, or people screaming your name all over the world?
Social media.
Yeah,
Social media. It was MySpace. That's what it was. It
I'm
was
too young for that.
Yeah, you're too young for that. You won't remember that.
Yeah.
But MySpace, like.
I think I started on Bebo.
Bebo, that was what we had.
Yeah, I remember. I never had Bebo. I remember the name Bebo, but.
I think it was for kids at the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So MySpace to me seemed to be about music first and foremost. The first time I ever heard of MySpace was 9 Inch Nails, a band, had a MySpace page. And you could go to 9 Inch Nails MySpace and you could listen to 4 9 Inch Nails songs that you'd never heard before.
Cool.
And see like tour dates, and it was like, this is interesting. Like this is a cool little thing. But it was the record label. They were like, you need a MySpace page. Have you heard about this thing called MySpace? Yeah.
It's groundbreaking.
Yeah, they were like, you need to get a MySpace page. And so Ed, FBC Fabric, he is very technically minded individual. He's a coder. He does coding these days, back-end coding.
Did you need coding to do MySpace back in the day?
He did then, yeah.
Oh wow.
A lot of it was copy and pasting.
What is it? I'm imagining it's just like an old Facebook.
It's like an old Facebook, but you could customize the page.
Right. Okay.
And that was
Okay.
the
So it's kind of
gimmick.
like a website builder.
So
you build your own page.
It was your space.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
my space, so I
Got
can
it.
make it look however I
Right.
want.
So there's a bigger barrier to entry than just opening up a Facebook account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, if you just opened a MySpace page, it kind of just looked naff. It kind of looked like a Facebook page. It's just like there's your profile picture, there's your music.
Doesn't
player.
look professional. or
Yeah,
anything.
it was just like bio little text. But you could copy and paste code into the coding backend box, which was like HTML code, and you could customize your page.
Got it.
So some people would sell you chunks of code to like turn your page into a glittery like GIF, like vomit-inducing nightmare. Or like you could make it a little bit stylish, da 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 da. So Ed was like really into FBC Fabric was really into like making it look nice, and
Got
I was his job was to make it look nice. My job was to like actually do it and like
Post the content and all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Respond to messages and respond to friend requests.
So you had your own page, or your page was together?
So we had the FBC Fabric and Reindeer MySpace page.
Together. Okay. And then that grew just what? The record label pushing it, or did that grow organically?
Grew organically. So it quickly became we went from like being on this label when we were like talking to the label, going, well, what happens next? Like, when's our next show? Like, what do we do next? To like organising it.
Organising it all yourself.
Yeah. All of a sudden we
cool.
were like in control of our fates because we set up this MySpace. We had a record deal. We had a record out. It was getting played on Radio 1. It had international distribution, so people were hearing it. But we didn't know that because we were just at home in our bedrooms.
Yeah.
Like we just didn't.
Twiddling your phone? Well, making more music, I guess.
Making more music.
Yeah, making more music.
Or just like wondering, what's going on. And the second we had MySpace, people were just like, love your album, like sick album.
Oh, that must have been awesome.
That's an amazing song.
That must have been a bit of must have blew you away a bit then.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What the hell? Like,
so you had no idea that you were popping off a bit?
Yeah, none.
Until you opened up MySpace?
Yeah.
That's
we
crazy.
Just didn't know, because there was no internet.
Yeah, okay, fuck, it was a different world.
There
Jesus.
was nothing. There was literally nothing. You just sit at
that's
home
nuts.
in your room, like what? I don't know. Yeah, we released an album. I remember the day we dropped the album, and like I was just at my mate Rob's house, sitting in his garden with a friend Chris. Shout out Chris, Flight 16, Rob Newton. We were just sitting in his garden. I was just like, yeah, released my album today.
Oh, nice.
And they're like, nice. And I was like, yeah, nice. All right, I'm going to go home now. It was just like,
that's crazy.
It was just...
Yeah, I guess you don't have that instant feedback, I guess, like you do now.
Just didn't know. There was just nothing. All we knew that we like phone up the record label and they'd be like, yep, sold some copies this week, looking good, boys. You should probably book some more shows. All right.
Cool.
Yeah, can you help with that?
So what did you do touring with FCB?
FBC Fabric.
FBC.
So that's the other angle of it. So what happened next was basically the label like organised, they had their own club night at Cargo in London, which is a very, very nice club. Wonderful sound system. So we basically played some shows in London through the label. And it was at this point that FBC Fabric realised that he wasn't really up for playing shows that much.
Right.
He didn't really enjoy it.
And you?
That much. I didn't want to do it until I did it the first time. I was super nervous. Like I'd never been on stage. I had straight up never been on stage ever. Like I fantasized about it, like it'd be cool, but I was like, I'd never done it. I was super nervous about it. And when we got the record deal, I was thinking, perhaps I might have to go on stage at one point. And I remember I was with FBC Fabric up in Newcastle, and we got the call from the label. I could hear him on the phone, and I was standing next to him. We were walking down the street, and I could interpret from the conversation that like they were expecting us to be on stage for their record label Christmas party. Right. And I just remember my heart was just like,
I bet.
I was like, oh my god.
You did it though?
And so I did it, yeah. And FBC Fabric, he couldn't be there for that Christmas party, so I just had to do it on my own. So the first...
Were you doing the lyrics though? So what does that process even look like? Because were you sampling? Do you just play the tune in the background and rap over it?
It was like it was playback. So I only did
but you were
3 songs.
rapping live, I guess.
So like rapping live over the instrumentals.
Got it.
Which is kind of like how hip hop music works live, because it's mostly sample based, so people are used to that. Like the DJ in the background drops the beat, MC starts rapping. So the format was familiar to the audience. So I just had to like rap over 3 songs from the album.
Did it go well?
It went. I didn't absolutely smash it, but I didn't make a mistake.
Yep.
I did all right. Everybody was like, "Yeah, that was really good."
Yeah, okay.
And I was like super buzzing. I loved it.
Yeah, I bet that must have been a rush, man.
It was incredible. It was incredible. There was
I've never had that many people cheering me.
Yeah, really nice sound system, really nice club. It was Christmas time, so it was a good vibe, and it was busy. There was like 200-300 people there.
Nice.
Everybody was like, maybe I didn't change people's lives, but everybody was like, big round of applause, like nice one.
Okay.
That was really good. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. Really enjoyed it. Immediately wanted to do it again. Smashed it. Not smashed it, but like acquitted myself admirably.
Nice. Yeah. Well, for first attempt though.
For a first attempt,
great.
yeah. I remember one of my mates, Paul Slater, was there. Shout out Paul Slater. And I came off the stage. He was like, yeah, that was really good. And he was like, is that the first time you ever did that? And I was like, yeah, first ever time. And he was like, mate, that was really good. Like, yeah, that was really, that was really good. He was like, you know.
Is that a compliment or an insult? I can't tell.
I took that as a compliment.
Yeah, I think so.
Because he's a good friend, so it was like, yeah. For a first attempt, it was decent. Like, I just didn't want to make a mistake. All I was thinking was that I'd be like halfway through Soul Suck, and then I'll forget. I'll go blank, you know, and just suddenly like, I can't remember the next lyric. Stage fright, and just mess it up.
It must have been so ingrained inside your brain by that point, though.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's what I realised when I first stepped on stage. It sounds silly, but when I first stepped on stage and the DJ started the first song, I was like, oh, I know this song. Because I wrote it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I suddenly felt like much more relaxed. I was like, I know when the vocal's going to come in. I know what the first lyric is because I
you know that song better than anyone in the room.
I know this song. If anybody in the world is qualified to perform this song, it's me. Like, I wrote it. And that was like a big realization.
Awesome.
And I was like, wow, okay, I'm going to do this now. And I did it. And so that's how it started. But, and so I got a big bug for playing live, and at the same time FBC Fabric was less and less into the vibe of playing live. So that became an issue at one point.
What was it about playing live he didn't like?
I mean, he struggles with social anxiety.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense then. That he wouldn't like it.
And so perhaps it isn't actually. I think he enjoyed being on the stage too, but just everything else involved in it he didn't really like.
So meeting the fans. And
being in a club, being in a busy social place, being surrounded by people, being somewhere noisy, having to stay out late, talking to people you don't really know.
Yeah. Okay.
Just like just out of his comfort zone, you know. And I'm not like a big social animal, but I was buzzed from just the chance to do this stuff.
Yeah, I bet.
So like I just enjoyed. I mean, I loved it when people would come up and say, "Hey, your stuff's great." That's like an amazing feeling. Like somebody you don't even know just sees you, walks over to you, just like, I shake your hand. You're like, "Damn, man, nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Thank you."
Yeah.
So we.
Yeah, I want that, to be honest.
It's amazing. Like when
I will get that at some point.
Of course.
This podcast, mate.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like when you
coming for you, Joe Rogan.
when you do a good job, you know you've done a good job, and then when somebody says you've done a good job and affirms that, whatever you do, that is a good feeling. So for a while, I had a part-time job doing catering. We used to do catering for weddings and funerals. And we made really tasty food, like really tasty food. And I knew that we made good food and that we're going to serve this food and everybody's going to love it. I just knew that. But then we would, and then afterwards they'd be like, "Thank you so much, you've made our day. That was like, that food, brilliant. Like we were so grateful. Like we'll definitely get you next time. We're not going to get married again, but like next time we'll definitely like." And it's just such a nice feeling because you know you've done a good job, and then somebody's responded in kind in that way. So whatever you do,
applies to anything.
If you do anything well and you put effort in, and you know you've done a good job, and then you get that feedback, it's such a good vibe. It's such a good feeling. Because you feel like you've earned it, you know.
Did you ever get sick of that feeling? I remember the first few good reviews I got for my website and stuff, and people saying, "Oh, this is so lovely. I'm hanging up inside my living room, whatever." People compliment it all the time. It was nice at first, but now it just it's definitely lost its appeal. It doesn't get me as buzzed as it used to be.
Okay.
Getting a good review.
Yeah. Okay. I think you can. It's easy.
But I guess it's different to someone coming up to you in person. If you're getting a good review on your website, it's probably, if one of these people came up to me in person and said, shook my hand, that would probably be a very different feeling, to be fair.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, in life you have to be careful not to take things for granted. You know. And I think that's something you have to...
You're dropping some wisdom on me now.
Yeah, dropping some wisdom now. You shouldn't take things for granted. You should remind yourself how lucky you are to have whatever you have, you know. And it's like, that's the thing with like, for me making music, you can have one person tell you your album's great, you can have 10 people tell you, you can have 100 people tell you, you can have 1,000 people tell you, but you really should cherish each one as meaningful in and of itself, because that's an individual person who's gone out of their way to just, they've like consumed your work, your art, they've bought your print or whatever, they bought your album, that they didn't have to do that.
Very true.
That's like a privilege. You're lucky that they've done that. You've worked hard and it's good product, but they didn't have to buy it. There's options, you know? And so yeah, you should feel grateful that they've appreciate that in the first place, and then they want to reach out and tell you that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, to be fair, I don't even really look, I used to do that. I used to reach out to all the reviews individually and send them, thanks for leaving a good review now. But now I've just hired someone to do it.
I mean,
I've outsourced it.
It can become.
But we still do it, but yeah.
Yeah, it can become, if you've got, I mean, you can't, if you've got 1,000 messages a day, you can't practically reply to 1,000 messages a day because you've got bigger fish to fry. But at the same time, you shouldn't take those 1,000 messages for granted, you know.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you then transition that into like global touring? How do people in different countries learn about James
so that
Reindeer?
was the MySpace. So yeah, through MySpace, all of a sudden we were getting hit up by people from
like
Europe
venues or
and the
people?
US. Huh?
Venues or people?
Mostly initially other like-minded artists.
Got it.
So I discovered a lot of great music through MySpace. Like I was like, holy shit! Like this guy's amazing. This guy's doing stuff just like us. And I think there was a lot of that. You know, a lot of people listen to our stuff and be like, oh, well, I'm doing stuff just like that.
It's so easy to, if you're on like a similar wavelength to someone, or you're in a similar thing that you're passionate about, it's so easy to connect with people.
Yeah.
Like there's a guy roughly my age who I met on Instagram quite recently. Never met him in real life before, and we just had a phone call for like 1 or 2 hours talking about our businesses.
Yeah, because
it's
you've
a similar
so
thing.
much common ground.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's just like you instantly feel like you know someone and you're comfortable with them.
Yeah.
Literally instantly.
Yeah. Immediate rapport because
Yeah.
you're both on the same page.
Yeah,
There's so
that's
much
nice.
things you don't have to explain to each other because you already both feel the same way about it. You're both
Yeah.
doing the same thing, trying to achieve the same thing with the same viewpoint, the same style, the same ideas, the same beliefs, the same interests. You might, I mean, and you can have a lot in common with somebody even if you still have quite a lot of differences, you know. So we would meet artists would befriend us on MySpace, and you could be like, that we have so much in common, it makes sense that we have made this connection.
Yep.
But also I'm not like massively into what they do.
Yeah, okay. What do you mean, their particular style? Their
Their
genre?
particular
What do you mean,
music,
like personality wise?
your music, I fully respect what you're doing.
But it's not my style.
Yeah, we're definitely in the same genre. We're definitely in the same mode.
My stuff's better though.
But yeah, my stuff's like. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No, I know what you mean. Just different style. I know what you mean.
And so when you meet somebody, like I met like Babblefish through MySpace, who's now one of my very best friends. Shout out Babblefish. When I first heard his stuff, I was like, just like blown away because it for me at that time it felt like what I wanted to do. I felt like he was doing what I kind of wanted to do.
But what couldn't pull off?
I felt like he was But I think he'd probably say the same thing about me as well. So we were both like really pulling in a very, very similar direction. It was just so similar. It was like, you can be this similar, you can be this similar, you can be this similar. He was like, we were just like, we're so dialed into that. We're like basically trying to do the same thing. It's like we're already collaborating together, but we never met each other.
Yeah.
And there's like a few people where you really like, there's such a strong connection.
Interesting. And that, it's like a musical connection, like the style that you're going for.
Yeah, it's like an artistic, lyrical.
Yeah.
We're rapping about the same kind of things over the same kind of beats.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
the same kind of vibe. And it's just like, what an incredible connection.
Yeah.
So then it was like MySpace, but then we got hit up by some people.
But like the people that you hung out with a lot, all your friends, were they all into music? Would you say, like the majority?
Yeah. So back in Croydon, like we all like music. We all, everybody.
Were they all making music, like most of your friends?
Yeah, but a lot of them were more like bands, like most of them were guitarists or drummers, doing more like rocky kind of stuff. I was probably I was really the one that was like, let's make rap music. I make beats. But everybody liked, so at this time, this was like mid to late 90s, so everybody was in Croydon, everybody was into Rage Against the Machine, Alice in Chains, 9 Inch Nails, Cypress Hill. There was this like, where alternative rock meets alternative rap culture. All my friends, they all played guitar, they all played drums or bass, they were like rehearsing, jamming. But I was.
And most of what you guys talked about was music as well.
Yeah, we sat around and we listened to music and traded albums.
Do you know that saying, like you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with?
I know that saying from you.
Do you? For me,
yeah.
That's that's part of the reason I'm on like Instagram and stuff, because I don't really know any other business owners really. That's part of the reason why I'm putting myself out there now. It's just to fucking. For me personally, I feel like you're surrounded by people doing music all day. I feel like I need to know some people. Specifically, e-commerce would be really good.
Yeah, surround yourself by like-minded people.
I think that's an important aspect of growth and
100%. Yeah, that makes
your career and
so
everything.
Much sense because it reinforces that what you're doing has a greater meaning than beyond your own personal expectations. It's like if other people are trying to do what you're trying to do, there must be something to it.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just like some like crazed lone wolf just, you know, hitting his head against the wall in isolation. Like, there are other people like you doing this.
You're crazy, yeah. And plus, like motivating as well. And then you talk about it all day.
Yeah. You can talk about it endlessly.
That's what I need.
You can bounce ideas off each other. You can push yourselves forward. You can collaborate. For me, collaborating in music is one of the most enjoyable aspects of music. I love collaborating. Every album I've done has involved some form of collaboration because it's just, I don't know, it just makes it so much more fun. And it motivates you more. It motivates you when you know that there's somebody else at the other end.
Does it come out better, would you say, on average, if you collaborate?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
And it's definitely more fun to make, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, but then everybody's bringing their strengths to the table. You know, and their energy levels to the table, and their commitment and willingness to like push this thing forward. And if there's 2 of you working on something, then while one of you's working on it, the other one's like anticipating what you're going to do next, so you know that there's somebody at the other end of the line waiting for you to finish this thing to send it over to them.
Right, yeah, there's like it's motivating as well because someone's waiting on you.
Yeah, somebody's expecting results, you know. And that's good. I mean, things like that help, like having a deadline. Everybody knows that a deadline helps. Like when you're a kid doing your homework, you wouldn't do it until the deadline was tomorrow.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even do it then.
And then sometimes some people wouldn't do it then. But a lot of people, they need their deadlines. Like, okay, how long have you been working on that? Oh, about 10 years. All right, well, it needs to be ready tomorrow. All of a sudden, they're like, yeah. Let's get it out the door.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. And then, okay, let's get into a bit more of the business side of it. So when you were doing like all the touring and stuff, how much of the time, how much admin and fucking marketing and stuff goes into your touring, I guess? Because like when someone sends me, really with anything, when someone sends me a piece of music and they're like, or if someone wants to get into music or like become an artist, I don't know much about the industry, but I know the first thing I go to is where you need to learn marketing, basically.
Yeah.
I don't think it really matters how good your song is. If you don't know marketing, no one's going to fucking hear it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, you can... Yeah,
and it's the same with anything, really.
Yeah, if nobody's going to hear it or see it, then it doesn't matter what the quality of the product is.
Yeah.
100%. So yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, it's always been... I've always come from a DIY, independent perspective, which meant like literally DIY, do it yourself. You have to learn it yourself, do it yourself. And that started with making music in my bedroom by myself with my own resources. But then with MySpace, it was like, okay, there is a platform here that I can do it myself and I can network with other people by myself. And so that's how tours got booked, like...
All by you?
Yeah, just networking. Be like, okay...
All online?
All
emails,
online. Yeah.
That kind of thing, yeah.
100%. The first show we ever played abroad, FBC Fabric and Reindeer, that we organised ourselves, we got hit up by some people who became friends in Switzerland. Shout out Mish and Manu. There was these crazy dudes in Switzerland who wanted us to come and play a show. And they had some money, and they're like, yeah, come on the February the 12th, we'll give you like some dinner and a place to sleep. And like,
that's sweet.
I think they gave us like 400 quid, which was enough to cover our travel expenses.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we just like all of a sudden we booked this like little 2-show tour in Switzerland. So yeah, we knew that these guys could book us in Frauenfeld, and we had somebody
It's like a free holiday as well.
Yeah,
like getting paid to go on holiday and do the thing that you love.
100%, it was crazy.
That's really cool.
It was nuts. It was like, so basically we had this little 3-day holiday in Switzerland, and we came home with more money than we left with.
That's
and we
it.
played 2 great shows, met loads of really nice people. And yeah, that's how it spiraled. And then it's like
So how did they find out about you? Just through MySpace?
Because they were like, hardcore, like just music.
Into the genre.
And just doing the research. Yeah, they had our album. I don't know how. To this day, I don't know how they got a copy of it. Or whatever. They just knew our stuff.
So back then, what, a physical copy? Is it?
Yeah. So this was like CDs and vinyl.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, this was at a stage when it was still. MP3s were a thing at this point, but you could still get away. But you would still. An album was a physical thing still at this point. So then the more people you met online, you'd meet other artists who've done a little tour, and they'd be like, yeah, I know a guy in Freiburg, I know a girl in Berlin, I know somebody in Paris who can book you, and we would just like accumulate email addresses from different people, and we'd get together to like. So instead of touring as one person, we'd like get a car's worth of artists. So we'd be like 4 rappers.
Got it.
Like rent a car, and then we pool like a collective.
Must have been such good fun.
Resort. It was like ridiculous, just like crazy fun.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We just just rent a car, drive around Europe for like a few weeks, play a bunch of shows in a bunch of cities with a bunch of people, just have a blast, take a box full of CDs and whatnot, records to sell. It was just like, it was like a holiday, But
you're getting paid.
And getting paid, but it did take organising. It was like,
I bet.
There was a lot of liaising, negotiating, getting. The more you did it, the easier it got, because you have a contact in each city, and you just hit them up again and be like, hey, it's me again. Can we book another show? Yeah, the last one was great. We'll book another one for you, no problems. So it just became a case of, can you do it? So the hardest thing was you tour throughout the week,
Monday to Sunday, and then obviously everybody wants to book you on Friday and Saturday nights.
Of course, yeah.
That's the big thing. So the tricky thing was becoming like trying to get shows on a Monday night. Can you do a Monday? Like we're gonna be in Strasbourg on Sunday, and then we're gonna be in Karlsruhe on Tuesday. Can you is there a chance you could do a Monday? Any day that you weren't playing a show was a day you were spending money.
Right.
You kind of tried to get a show booked every day, like off days. Yeah.
How much do you get paid per show? Like a couple £100 per show? Is it?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it was
That's
like
good.
It was like decent. Yeah, I mean,
About
if you did.
what, for an hour's work less?
Yeah, I mean, when we if we did like a 4-act show, we do like half an hour each.
Yeah. Okay.
Ish. And then maybe like a freestyle at the end where everybody gets on stage and we do like an extra 10-minute thing.
Freestyle.
Yeah.
Can you freestyle?
Yeah.
Will you freestyle on the podcast at some point today?
Today, no.
No. I'll try and get clips sometime of you.
Yeah. We can. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that in another podcast.
Sweet.
I would want to set it up properly.
Got it. So, when was the last time you played a show? Do you still play shows? Have you wound it down a bit now?
Yeah, I've wound it down. So touring is a lot of fun, but it's super exhausting because everywhere you go it's a really late night and a really early start and a really long drive the next day. So the average drive would be 6 hours from city to city. So you're doing a 6-hour drive every day. When you get to the place, it's a party. They booked a show, it's a party. So
it's your partying every night.
it's a party
Yeah,
every
exhausting.
night, and they want to stay up till, for them, in their city, the promoter and their friends, they want to stay up till the morning. You know what I mean? So you might be getting very little sleep. And if you go out on tour, you do a 6-hour drive every day, and you only get 4 hours sleep at night. Everybody was like drinking and what have you.
Apart from you.
Apart from me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exhausting. And you can do it in your 20s, it's fun, and into your 30s, it's still good amount of fun, but it gets a little bit. At one point, I don't like noise anymore.
Okay.
I really don't like noise. I don't like being noisy.
What do you want with noise? Too much noise?
Too much noise.
Loud noises?
Loud.
Yeah.
I don't like loud.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and so when you're in a club, and yeah, if you get to the show, it's like 6 p.m, you have to sound check, then you have some food, people start arriving by 8, so then it's basically like booming loud music from 8 p.m. till 2 a.m, and it's really tiring. And just people.
Yeah, I bet. Sounds
and you have to
exhausting.
be full on, super happy, super social, super engaged.
Yeah.
And as
all
the night
time.
gets on, everybody's more and more drunk and more wasted, and people are like, and you're like, yeah, nice, great, yeah, okay.
That's funny.
It becomes tiring. But
So
also,
what do you do when these people keep trying to get you to drink? Do you pretend to have a drink?
No, just that I don't drink.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, no, so I don't drink. And they'll be like, come on, have a shot, just one shot. And you're like, I really don't drink. Can we have one shot to celebrate? All right, we're having one shot. Okay, let's have another one. No, I said one, that was it, one shot.
I found that very frustrating when I abstained for a period of time. A few people would constantly try and
Yeah.
I'd have a cup of tea and the bag would still be in the morgue and then the bottle of whiskey. I was like, no.
Yeah, it's amazing how people who drink really want you to drink.
Yeah.
Even
When
Yeah.
themselves feel better. I mean,
Possibly.
I'm not like that though. I would never tell someone. Well, I bought you some liqueur.
But
I thought that was funny.
I am teetotal.
And I got you the other one.
Bought me a bottle of liqueur,
Yeah.
so.
But I thought that was funny because you don't drink.
It is funny, but I mean it's
I want to make it a common theme to get an alcoholic drink for the guests. So
fair. But I mean,
if you don't want it though, I'll gladly take it off your hands.
Well,
And you can have this though. This stuff's nice. I got it as a backup. I've got a crate of it for you.
nice. Well, I'll taste this thing and we'll see where it leads us.
Cool. Sounds good. Will you taste it on the podcast?
Yeah, all right.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, so we were talking about, do you think being sober's helped you? For me, like, I know without a doubt that if I quit alcohol, which I think I could do fairly easily, my career and stuff would be, my business would do better. I'd be less tired all the time. I'd be healthier.
Yeah.
But my life would just be less fun. I'm convinced, like, I don't know.
Less fun.
Less fun.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, a lot of people get into that thing where intoxication is the way to have fun.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
You definitely do crazier stuff when you're drunk. It definitely facilitates an environment for more wild, adventurous behaviour.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Definitely.
It's not like there's no hard and fast rule. Like, for sure, you can have a fun time drunk.
Yeah.
But you can have a fun time sober. There's the opportunity to put fun in a variety of ways.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, but like, let's say shitting in a mini golf hole probably wouldn't happen sober.
Probably wouldn't happen.
But that's
sober.
one of the funniest stories I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely
stuff like that.
I've been a part of really funny times that were funny because people were drunk and high,
doing stupid shit.
And that can be really entertaining. But it's like the rule, everything in moderation.
Yeah.
If you have a really hilarious drunk time Saturday night, yeah, that was fun. But we don't have to do it again Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, that'd be awful. And then your life would just go to shit if you're doing it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Every day.
I mean, a lot of people have that problem with anything. They find something they like, and then they just want to do it all the time, and that can be really unhealthy.
Yeah, I'm definitely like that. I mean, anything that's remotely addictive, I'm just on it straight away.
Yeah.
But now I have caffeine, cigarettes, weed in the past.
Yeah.
Gym. I've pretty much substituted cannabis. The gym cut down on the cannabis, and the gym has replaced that to a massive extent.
I'd say gym's definitely addictive. Cannabis is definitely addictive in a different way than the gym.
Yeah. I mean, it's all chemicals in the brain.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, everything is a chemical reaction in your brain.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, but like gym, you get a lot out of it because you look good and you feel good, and people compliment on you on your appearance, and that feels good. And if you're a pothead, you just stay at home and you watch repeats of your favourite show on Netflix, and you're not even like mentally engaged in like anything in any sort of meaningful way.
Yeah.
It's definitely easier.
Definitely more addictive than the gym.
Yeah.
It's like an addictive substance is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to go cold turkey with all the addictive substances, so I just...
For me, it's all or nothing. I tried to cut down again recently with the alcohol, and now whenever I get tanked, it just makes me miserable, so it's all or nothing.
Yeah, fair. That's what I like about you, though. Like, I haven't touched chocolate or anything in 3, maybe even 4 years now. Just because I know if I have a bit of chocolate...
Yeah, then you just suddenly,
I'm just going to be scoffing Yorkie bars all day, every day. I don't even know if they sell them anymore, do they?
Yorkie bars?
I don't know why I said that.
They do...
it's the one for men. Is that the one for men?
They don't do that advert. They just canned that a long time ago because it's like kind of sexist, but... they do a chocolate orange version, which is quite good.
Fair.
Fucks your teeth up though, because they're so fucking dense, the bars. Do you know
Oh,
what I mean?
I bet.
Like, when you're trying to bite into it.
So I might like a special case. So you dabble. You have the occasional alcoholic drink. Well, not occasional, very, very rare alcoholic drink. You quit caffeine, right? Did you used to drink a lot of caffeine?
Yeah. I used to drink a lot of caffeine. I quit that about 4 years ago.
You're good. I mean, you're the healthiest looking person I think I've ever met in my life. Like, you don't look anywhere near your age.
Yeah.
And I think you'll probably have the healthiest lifestyle out of anyone I think I've ever met.
Interesting.
And it shows.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely.
As in terms of like what you're putting in your body, like you don't drink, you eat healthy every day.
Yeah, I think the decisions that I have made health-wise, for whatever reason, have a noticeable benefit.
I think you're how old are you again? 44, did you say?
44.
I think you're what a 44-year-old human being is supposed to look like, and most 44-year-old beings have been put in drugs, whether it's, I'm going to count like processed sugar as crap, just poisoning their bodies their whole life and they look way older.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's...
Could you eat a lot of chocolate as well, like junk food? Maybe very occasionally?
It's as a treat.
Yeah.
It's a treat. I do like a chocolate brownie. I will eat like a nice chocolate brownie with some vegan ice cream and a few fresh strawberries. That is like a lovely dessert. But you know,
I just can't do it.
The less,
I used to scoff so much chocolate every
The less
evening.
I do things, the more I like them.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. In terms of, like
just
sweets
almost
or,
everything.
Yeah.
Like in terms of consuming things.
Yeah.
You know,
Like you said, everything in moderation.
everything in moderation. It's like such a good rule.
From Yanis Varoufakis, the Greek guy, the finance minister, the former Greek.
Yeah, he wrote that book,
Okay.
Teaching the Economy to My Daughter
Talking
or
to his
something.
child, yeah, it's like, what did he say? It was, I don't think it was him that said it, but it's like in moderation as a poetess, which is like Greek for like poet or something like that. Immoderately as an idiot.
Oh.
What?
In moderation as a poet, immoderately as an idiot.
Okay. I don't understand.
Everything in moderation.
I don't understand that. Fuck. Why don't I understand that? What does it mean? So he's just saying if you don't take things into moderation, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
It's not that you are stupid, but you're being stupid. You're being idiotic.
Okay.
It's
Do you take your music in moderation?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I don't.
I feel like that's only for poison, like junk food and stuff. If it's a genuine passion, that's not harming you, like music or if you like going for walks.
Yeah,
I don't think you can walk
used to.
too much.
I definitely used to listen to music a lot more than I do now. But music's a difficult one because you can hear songs in your head. Like, I don't have to listen to a song. I know if I think of a song I like, I can hear it in my head.
Right.
So it's like I don't actually have to get the record out and press play on the song. It's already there.
Right.
So a lot of the time I'm listening to music without actually.
You can just play a song in your head.
Yeah, I'll just have a song. You have a song in your head. You get a song stuck in your head.
Yeah.
You know
But it's not. I don't have any control over it though. Like it annoys me when I get songs stuck in my head.
I mean, but most of the music I get stuck in my head is music that I like.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wake up in the morning. Every morning I wake up in the morning and I have a song in my head, and I don't choose what that song's going to be, but 100% it's going to be a song I listen to and that I like. So that's interesting in and of itself.
I'm gonna pause the thing quick just to check it's working and take a quick toilet break.
Sounds good.
Sweet. Sometimes I hope it's like recording. How long have we been talking as well? Yeah. Okay, back from a short break. I didn't realise we'd been talking for an hour and a half.
That went quick.
That went really quick. I thought it'd been
quick.
like literally 50 minutes.
I felt like we definitely pushed an hour, but hour and a half is
Nuts,
more than
yeah.
I was expecting.
So we're going to take a sip of this, and I've got one closing question for James. Maybe two. One of them is really quick. Should be a really quick answer. It will take about.
Like yes or no?
Should be a one-word answer, and you shouldn't have to think about it too much for the last question.
I'm curious.
But I'll ask you one first. Oh, mate, this bottle is fancy. I like it.
It is a fancy bottle.
Shout out to Salerno Delicatessen.
Let's have a
How do you say that word? Delicatessen. Delicato.
Delicato. That does smell like
Blood orange is your favourite, right?
Yeah, that does smell like blood orange. See, this is nice,
it's clear.
but it's not. It doesn't.
You
really,
just want a sip.
Yeah, just keep it. This doesn't
Is that
really
enough
taste
or-
like blood orange. Yeah, that'll do it.
Does it not? I don't know what it tastes like, blood orange. So.
Yeah, that
couldn't say.
I was saying to Connor, if you didn't tell me what this was, I
wouldn't guess.
guess that it's blood orange.
I'm not a fan of the smell, to be honest.
Cheers.
It's quite strong. Does it taste of blood orange?
Tastes of booze.
Yeah, it's quite strong.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there is a bit of a blood orange aftertaste to it.
I'm not a massive fan. You can
Um,
definitely keep that one. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Bit too strong.
It's strong. It's
I didn't know
really
it's
strong.
like 30%. I thought it would be. Isn't the cure meant to be like 10%? I think.
No idea. Yeah, I can.
About 12.5 usually.
Yeah.
What was the coffee or the
12.5, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you said one of the first questions I asked you is what do you have to teach about life? I don't remember your answer, so I'm going to ask you that same question. What life advice do you have for, let's say, someone my age, mid-20s?
One of the first things I always say is that you really have to appreciate that the older you get, the quicker time goes by.
Yeah, I noticed that for sure.
Yeah, and nobody will ever stop remarking on that. That's the endless topic. Like
Okay.
British people can always talk about the weather. Everybody can just talk about how fast this year's gone so fast. This month's gone so
Jesus.
fast. This decade's gone so fast. So yeah, when you're a little kid, time goes so slowly. When you're a teenager, it goes a bit faster. 20s a bit faster. 30s a bit faster. 40s, like I'm now in my 40s. Like days go by, just like
Instantly, yeah.
instantly. It's crazy. Like I work.
I think that's got something to do with attention span, you know, because kids have
Yeah, I don't know
no
what
attention span.
Yeah, I don't
so
know what
everything
it's got
feels.
to do
I remember
with.
being
Yeah.
hours car drive as a kid would drive me
Yeah,
fucking nuts. I couldn't stand it.
Yeah, an
it was
hour
too much
as
time.
a kid is just.
Yeah.
But some people have said that it's because an hour is a much bigger percentage of your life when you're a kid.
Yeah. That's
I don't like that theory because it would still an hour's still an hour though,
Yeah.
unless there's something different in your brain.
Yeah,
Because kids are you're definitely wired differently when you're younger. Like a really old person can just sit on a chair and do nothing for like
Yeah.
6
I
hours.
think, yeah,
right?
I think if
On
you're
their rocking
in
chair.
your 80s, then a year must go by like a fortnight.
Yeah, I think they just got way higher attention span.
Possibly.
I think
Yeah, I can't.
for whatever reason
I can't explain why, but I can tell you 100%
that it's true.
time speeds up.
Okay,
So when you're younger, you feel like you've got all the time in the world.
Yep.
You haven't.
Okay,
So
so make the most of today.
Make the most of everything. Always.
Everything,
Every
always.
moment. Every things. And another thing is things feel like they're gonna last forever, and they won't.
They won't.
No. So that can
What
be
do you mean
good
by
and
that,
bad. Like for example, if you're very unhappy, if you're
Right.
hitting a depressing spell, it feels like that's going to be the rest of your life, and that can be really depressing because you feel like I'm never going to escape this feeling of depression. But actually, you will. So it's going to be fine. But also, you can be having an amazing year, and you just think this is never going to
It's life.
end.
Yeah.
It's going to end.
That's the thing about depression. It's just like everything's depressing.
Yeah. But you can beat it.
Yeah.
You've got to cherish every moment, and you've got to understand that every moment is fleeting, and that if it's good or if it's bad, it's not going to last. There's going to be a new moment after this one, and you can't predict how long these moments are going to last. Like for me, touring, this was some of the best years of my life. And in one hand, it felt like a real fleeting treasure, and in another way, it felt like it was never going to end. But that's over now.
Yeah.
So I'm in a different part
But you
of my life.
you wouldn't want to be doing that now anyway, would you?
No,
or
well,
you
that's
would
the
be
thing.
doing it.
Yeah,
I
you
guess.
don't want to be doing the same thing forever.
Yeah.
You might feel like you do. Like we talked about this before. When I was younger, in my 20s, music was the most important thing in my life. It's like I lived for music. I would tell you that I lived for music. And now, like 20 years later, music is not the most important thing in my life. It just isn't.
What's more important than music?
My own well-being.
Got it.
So with my music career, I sacrificed a lot of my well-being for music. I did things that were more important for music than they were for my own well-being. And that was a decision I made, and no regrets. Shouldn't have regrets, because you should always do the right thing. But yeah, you've got to understand that you are going to change as you move through your life, and different things are going to become have different levels of importance at different times. And don't just be stuck in the mud. Don't just say, well, music's supposed to be the most important thing in my life.
I'm going to beat myself up now because for some reason it doesn't feel that way anymore. It's fine. Let it go.
Yeah.
Like, just move through your life, appreciating what motivates you at any given time.
That's deep. Okay,
That's
so
deep.
I mean, most of the people I know, kind of just none of them have any direction really. They spend like, well, I don't know how many hours a day people watch Netflix on average, 6 hours maybe less. But
Yeah.
so you spend your life doing what you love, being fulfilled. You've had like a great life, and you enjoy loving life now. What is the secret to that? You got one?
Secret
hard
to that. I think one of the most important things is
You've been doing what you love the whole time. Which is music,
do what you
right?
love.
What if you're like me and you don't really love anything?
Find something you love.
Yeah, true.
Don't beat yourself up for not knowing what you love yet. Just enjoy what you can, do what you can. Do the right thing. That's one of the most important things. Be a good person. Be a positive influence in the world. Because a lot of people lose a lot of sleep when they put their head on their pillow. They think about all the things they've done wrong, all the people they've hurt, all the bad things they've done. Like, try and be a good person. Basic. And then, just be open to possibilities, you know. You never know.
Yeah, I think go outside your comfort zones.
Yeah, go outside your comfort zone.
Like when you did that first gig, you said you're scared as shit.
Yeah,
I know people that have gone, travelled to like job interviews and got nervous at the last minute and then didn't go into the interview. And I could never do that personally.
Yeah.
I would have to go.
Yeah, I mean,
You've got to push yourself outside your comfort zone.
a lot of things in life you have to be brave. You have
Yeah.
to just do that thing because you never know what it's going to lead to. There's many times in my life where I've like pushed myself to do that one thing, and I'm so glad I did because it totally changed my life afterwards. Like stepping on stage for the first time.
Yeah.
I could very easily have been like, I don't think I can do
Chickened
it.
out, yeah. Your life would be so different.
My life is
so different.
so different.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And so,
I
yeah,
think that's an important one.
yeah.
Go outside your comfort zone.
Go outside your comfort zone.
So time goes faster. Appreciate the moment because time goes faster.
Be a good person. Do the
Be
right
a good
thing.
person. Take care of your well-being.
Take care of it. Yeah, your well-being is super important. Your mental health is super important. Your physical health is super important. So when you're young, you feel indestructible. You feel like you can do anything, and to a certain extent, your body will let you get, and your mind will let you get away with that. The older you get, the less you should push it, because you are just a physical entity.
Right.
You are an organism that will fail at one point.
Yeah.
And so just, be as healthy as you can. Because when you're young, when you're like in your 20s, you feel like, when I was 25, if somebody said, oh, imagine when you're 40, I feel like I'll be a different person. That's like a different lifetime.
Yeah.
It's got no relation to me.
Yeah.
You will hit 40. You will hit 60. You will hit 80. And you will have to.
I hope I hit 80.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously you might not. You know, rest in peace, everybody that hasn't made it as far as they thought they would. But you know, you need to look after yourself. So when you're 60, you might still have 2, 3, 4 decades of life left. And if if all you've ever done is eat donuts and chicken pies and drink 10 pints of beer, you're going to have a really hard time just walking around.
Yeah.
You know? And your mind you need to be compos mentis, you need to be of sound mind. So the less you can abuse your brain with chemicals, the better off you're going to be in later life. And and another thing is you will always, like, there's a great George Strait's lyric where he just says, I still feel 25 most of the time. And that's such a good lyric. Like when you're 25, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's a lyric. But when you're 45, it's like, damn, yeah, you do. You will feel 25 most of the time for the rest of your life. And so if your body is really telling you actually, yeah, you're way, or you feel like 125, that's going to be really difficult to just move through that.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, I think I completely agree with that as well. Body comes. I made a YouTube video about that the other day, about body comes first. My advice is if you want to do anything in life, whether it's start a business or do this or take care of that, like get your sleep right and your diet right.
Your
I think it's the first step.
ins and outs. If you take care of your ins, your outs, and take care of
inputs and outputs,
Yeah, your well-being.
Did you watch that video?
I did. It's really good. Yeah, I've seen not all of your videos yet, but everyone I've seen I've really enjoyed.
Oh, sweet. Cheers.
100% Dennis. Yeah, I mean, let's shout out Dennis because this is. Woo! You're for my money, you and Connor, you're really amazing gentlemen. You're really
Thank you.
Young
I'm very
people.
flattered.
No, I'm like fully sincerely. I think you're doing really amazing stuff. It's a pleasure to like get to experience what you're up to get to share in it.
We try our best, yeah. That's a good segue into the final question as well, which is, who makes the most money out of everyone you know under the age of 40? Woo!
Dennis.
Is it me?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Nice. Yeah, we'll wrap it up there. End on a high note. Thanks for the life advice, James. That is good shit.
All good. I'll
really
be
good
here
shit.
Anytime, next time. I mean, we talked for a long time. And I feel like there's a lot we didn't touch on. Dennis and I have had a lot of, and Connor, we've had a lot of really interesting conversations. And I think there's a lot more that could be said.
Yeah, I didn't know the time went so fast. That is my feeling as the podcast says. I'll have a timer next time. And maybe I will plan out some important questions I want to ask.
Yeah,
we'll see. It's a learning process.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a nice intro. This is the first time I've been interviewed. I've guested on a podcast. It's been a real pleasure.
Nice. Okay, do you want me to put your Instagram stuff in the bio so people can
links in bio.
Nice.
We'll sort that out.
Sweet. All right, good shit. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Life is Hard, episode 3, complete. Bye-bye.